good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. It's going to be with you, Purple, feeling Grant, and always in your world. We're going to have a Q&A Wednesday. I was realising how many glasses because I can't see properly. Well, I can, but it's just very, very bright. So let's get the specs on. Right, okay, so let's dive into question one today, everybody. Question one today is, do you prefer an ash or Alder body? And do you prefer maple or rosewood fingerboard? I don't really care. As long as the guitar's good, I don't really care what it's made of. I got the Batacaster back the other day. The Batacaster's been on like holiday, if you will. I lent it to somebody to start to learn to play, and I got it back the other day. And that guitar's made out of MDF. It's really heavy and pretty uncomfortable, if you will. It's kind of like, you know, in its weight. But it's an amazing guitar. It's absolutely amazing guitar. But it's made out of MDF, you know, and it sounds good. So, in all fairness, what would... I mean, if I'm going to be really picky, if you want me to be really picky, I can't be, because I don't know, because I like ash. My Oswald Telecaster's ash. My first Oswald is ash. My second two Oswalds are Alder. You know, I've got, you know, the ST62 is a basswood body. I'll say the Batacaster's MDF. I've had other guitars that are kind of like, I don't know what they are. Popular, I think the Vintage V6 was popular. I got Les Pauls made of mahogany and maple and lignum rosa and akum wood, which is what my Revelations body's made out of. You know, I'm not that fussy. Like I say, if a guitar's good, regardless of what it's made out of, and regardless of what its fretboard is. I don't really have a preference. I mean, if you want to be picky, I can't be picky anymore. I just want, if I can play the guitar and it feels good to me, that's all that matters to me. I don't really go into that world anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's, if I'm given the option, like for instance, like, you know, when Nick asked what do I want for the red Strat or the John Strat, the John Mark II, sorry. You know, I was going for, the reason I picked Alder and Rosewood for that was just because of the historic thing of that's what the old 60s Strats were. They're older bodied with a really dark rosewood fretboard. But so if I've been picky, I suppose it's Alder and Rosewood. But then again, I was picky on my Telecaster and the John Strat, which are ash and maple. So either, really, I suppose is the answer. Really, I'm not bothered, but either. You know what I mean? Like I say, I mean, a good guitar is a good guitar. The Batacaster, when I got that back and I plugged it in, I was just like, this guitar is so good. It's so good. I mean, the neck's a baseball bat, but it's so comfy. But it's such a great guitar, and I don't regret buying that thing for 1 second. I love it, and I'll tell you what, I've missed it as well. I really have missed that guitar. It's now hung back in its place on the wall downstairs, and I love it very much. But again, like I say, that's an MDF body on that thing. You know, it weighs an absolute ton. Yeah, tongue. It weighs a ton. It weighs a ton. You could use it as an anchor on the Titanic. You know, it was so heavy. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to preference, I mean, you know, it depends. I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of the way old guitars look. I just like, you know, I just love the way 60s Strats and 50s Strats are, 50s Telecasters are, and stuff like that. So, if I'm being picky, it'll either be a 60s Strat with an Alder body and a rosewood fretboard, or a 50s Strat with a maple fretboard and an ash body. I like the way lacquer sinks into ash over the year. Like, for instance, like on my telly. I don't know how well this will come across on camera, but you can kind of see the wood grain on the guitar because all the lacquer's sunk into it, and it just looks so cool. I love the way nitrocellulose lacquer just sinks into the cracks and, like, you know, the wood, whatever wood lines, I don't know what they are, you know, in ash. It just looks really cool. But at the same time, you know, Alder has a certain way of wearing that looks really, really cool as well, especially in pick wear as well. I don't know. But like I say, I mean, if I had to choose between the two, if I really, really had to choose, it'd be Rosewood and Alder. Just because, you know, my dream guitar is a 62 Stratocaster, which again would have been Alder body and Rosewood neck. So, you know, and my main guitar is that, you know. Actually, I'll say now, I don't know what my Mexican Strat body would be, actually. I don't know if it would be Alder. I'm guessing it will, but I don't know. If anybody knows what a 2002 Mexican 60s reissue Strat body would be made out of, could they let me know? Because I don't know. I'm quite curious, actually. I'm quite interested to know. I went posh. I don't know why I went posh. Anyway. But like I said, I mean, like if I'm being picky, like I said, that would be what I'd be. But like I say, at the end of the day, a good guitar is a good guitar, regardless of what it's made out of, what it's branded as, regardless of, like, you know, how good the electronics are, this, that, and the other. A good guitar is a good guitar, regardless, really. So, you know, be that for what it is. You know, it's it is what it is, really, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. Hope that's answered your question. I have the incredible fear that was the worst answer I've ever given, ever. So I do apologise in advance if that was the worst answer I've ever given, because I feel like it was. Sorry. I hope it might have been something in there, though. Okay, so I'm going to move on to question 2. Question 2 is, how do you do that keyboardish sound you use sometimes on your intro jams? Okay, so that, I've got my amp on, just to show you what I do. The sound, how I do it is I do the volume swells, so it's just kind of like you play a chord with your volume all the way down, then you roll your volume in, and then roll it out. And the sound, that sound, that sound, which I have loved forever, is reverb, lots and lots of reverb. They're basically maxed out. It all comes from the Zoom G2. So it's a maxed out reverb, maxed out chorus. So chorus is on its fastest kind of wibbly wobbly setting. It's very, very quick. I don't know if you can. It's like, you know, the chorus sound is really, you know, really, really quick. It's a fast sound, and it's a delay. So it's yeah. So it's all the reverb, all the chorus, and all the delay. Basically, the repeats are really long, the delay time's really long, and the level of the delay is on max. So the original signal of the guitar is really quiet compared to the first delay signal. So, and that's how you get the fade really smooth. Because if I just play a chord, you'll hopefully be able to hear the first delay is louder than the original signal. Yeah. So this is this again, long delay, loads of repeats. That's another key to it. But if I hit it again, you'll hear my initial impact. The first repeat after that is a lot louder. So it just sticks out more. And there's two ways I play with this sound. One is to do the volume swells like that. You know, like that. Another one is to tremolo pick. What I mean by tremolo pick is just play really, really fast. And I don't normally do that with major and minor kind of third intervals. So like, and I'll do this. Really hard to do it all like that, but that's the kind of two ways I use it. I use it a lot in recording. I think I use it too much recently. I've been trying to kind of step back a bit from using it too much in recording, just because I use it so much. I nearly used it in Lost in a Dream, like to a massive extent, and I was like, no, we're not going to use that at all. I used particle verb instead, which fit better than this sound. But Oh, by the way, everybody, I didn't write Lost in a Dream. I just played it, so it's not my song technically. I was basically gifted that song by a friend of mine, and yeah, and it's their song that I got to play because I love it. My friend sent me it, and I was in love with it the moment I heard it, and I was like, I need recording, and my friend said, can you record it? And I was like, well, not. I was like, I prefer to record it if you were here, but eventually, kind of like, yeah, I couldn't resist its charms, so I did record it, and but yeah, I love that. I love that song. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I tangent, but that's kind of what's to be expected. But by now, oh, good gravy. Okay. We're only on day 3 of quarantine. I'm already losing my mind. What's new? Anyway, moving along. That was a bit weird. Okay, so yeah, that's the keyboardish sound. That's the way that's the 2 ways I use it. Like I say, it's either volume swells or really fast tremolo picking, and it adds for a really cool. It sounds like a pad. It sounds like a pad sound, like a keyboard kind of like string kind of sound. And it's really, really cool, and it can use it to great effect when recording or doing a backing track or just or playing along with people as well. I mean, it's a cool sound to kind of like stick in, like, you know, if you're a guitarist in a band, if there's another guitarist in a band, you're after a part for a song or something like that. It's a cool sound to kind of add in the background because your guitar almost ceases to be a guitar. Really, it is a lot more like a keyboard, but it's got a real melodic thing to it, and it's a real textural guitar as well, so it's not really something that kind of wants to be high in the mix. It's something that wants to be there and you can hear it, but it's just kind of like, it's a fattening kind of thing. It's really, really cool. But yeah, like I said, I nearly used it silly to a silly extent the other day, and I was like, no, we're not doing that, so I went for Particle Verb, which definitely fit Lost in a Dream so much better. And I say, I'm in love with that song. I am absolutely in love with that song. I want to marry it and have its babies, and having the honour to actually record it, like having my friend be that awesome in the fact of, like, you know, you can record this, you know, you can record it, you know, do what you kind of want with it and kind of thing like that. And I did get I asked her opinion on quite a few bits and pieces, and I did get advised on a few things that I wouldn't have thought of. And the things that she recommended made it better. So I like that. I like that collaboration thing. When writing music, I love collaborating. I think it's fun. I mean, writing music on your own is cool, but it's like when I worked with Kay on the Devil Isn't Him song. I liked collaborating because their ideas are different to your ideas. What you think the song sounds like isn't necessarily what they think the song sounds like, and you've got to try everything. For instance, on just as a tangent back to, just because I love the song and I kind of want to talk about it. This has got no relevance to this question whatsoever, but I see how I've got here, but it's weird. But initially, part 1 of Lost in a Dream had drums from the get-go, had that kind of electronic drum beat from the get-go. And my friend, she said, well, can you not, you know, could you cut that off the first part of it and then it come in where it comes in now? And I was like, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, because the thing is, when you're doing a song, you want to try everything. You know what I mean? If somebody's got an idea, try it. Don't just dismiss it off the bat. You know, always try everything because you never know what can make something better. So I chopped off the drums. Initially, I got rid of the drums totally. But because I kind of misread what was being said, but then I kind of chopped it to where it comes in on the kind of like the B section, if you will, of the song, and where it kind of like, you know, goes up the neck, and I cut it off, before that, losing my voice, and then I left it obviously for the rest of the song, and for me it just made it. It just made the song. Like, it just was like, it was like, that's it. That's exactly what it needed. From that point on, I was like, it doesn't need anything else. So yeah. Anyway, but like I say, that's the keyboardish sound I use. The other keyboardish sound I use, which kind of brings me quite neatly actually, is particle verb, which is an effect on the HX, the line 6 HX, which is this crazy kind of regenerating reverb, which I love as well. But that keyboardy sound with the chorus and everything is the sound I've used a long time, and it's on a lot of songs of mine. So, and I do love it. I really do love it. So yeah, there we go. Tangent over. Okay, moving on to question 3. One day I'm going to be stop doing that. I don't know. Okay, so question 3 is: I hate playing in music shops when shopping for gear. I have no music shop licks. How do I get over this? I can play riffs and intros to songs, but can't noodle. If you can play riffs and intros, you can noodle. You know what I mean? You don't need to have to go into a shop and go, you know, to be kind of like to noodle. That's not noodling is just like playing the guitar. You know what I mean? You're just messing around on the guitar. If you know intros and you know songs, you'll be all right. You know what I mean? What it is music shops sometimes, not all of them, but sometimes have a weird air about them that makes you really self-conscious, especially if there's other guitarists playing about, or it's noisy, or there's a lot of people in there, or whatever. You know what I mean? It makes it really difficult for you to kind of like, you know, be comfortable in that environment. And I totally know what you mean. I've been there. I don't know anybody who hasn't been there who walks into a music shop and like, you know, I want to try this guitar, but I'm a bit like, don't know about that. Because it can just make you a bit. It can make you really edgy, you know, especially if somebody's like, you know, if somebody's just like shredding in the corner, you know, you're a bit like, yeah, I'll do. You know what I mean? It is that kind of thing. But what you kind of do to get over it is just kind of like imagine you're at home, or plan something you're going to play. You know what I mean? Before you leave, what was the last thing I played last night, or what was the last thing I played this morning, or whatever, before I'm going to this music shop, what's the last thing, or what's the song that I really enjoy playing, you know, and then basically go to the shop and play that song. You know what I mean? Even if it's Stairway to Heaven and Smoke on the Water. You know, go to the shop and play that song, you know, or riff, you know what I mean, or solo, or whatever. You know, and just play that. You know what I mean? It's, you know, the problem is, and I've had this. People do. I've experienced this. The problem is, you kind of have a fear that people are going to look down on you, and you're not very good. If you're just kind of like going, you know what I mean, just to try something out. You know, you kind of feel like inadequate in a way, because especially if somebody's like shredding in the corner, or somebody's like cracking out their best blues licks or whatever in the corner, you know, you feel a bit kind of like, you know, it makes you feel insecure and kind of a bit insignificant if you're just kind of like, you know, playing basic chords. But, and I'll tell you a story in a minute, because I've got one, and sorry. But yeah, so if you know songs and you know riffs and you know intros and stuff like that, then play them. Just play them. And just imagine you're at home. You've just got to kind of get through the whole concept of kind of like people looking at you. Because most of the time, guitar shops are a very kind of judgmental place sometimes. There's a lot of kind of like judging going on, and like kind of like, you know, oh well, let's see how good you are kind of thing. And it shouldn't be that way, because music and playing guitar is not a competition. And it's not a competition that anyone could ever win, because if you think you're brilliant, I can guarantee there's somebody better. You know what I mean? That's one of the lessons of playing guitar, is the moment you think you're amazing, you will find somebody will come along who is better than you, and then you'll have to start from square one. A good example of that is Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix. You know, Eric Clapton, right up there as God. Right up in, you know, in the mid to late 60s, Eric Clapton is God. Cannot be beaten. He is the best. He is the absolute best. Jimi Hendrix comes along 1966-67 and destroys him. Literally destroyed him. Like that first gig where he got up and jammed with Cream, and Chas Chandler says a story about Eric Clapton went white as a sheet, and had to leave the stage and was just outside shaking. He couldn't light a cigarette because he was like shaking. And he said, "Where the F did you find him?" You know, and people like Jeff Beck said the same thing. Jeff Beck, Pete Townsend, they all said we're going to have to do something else because we're obviously no good at this anymore because of Jimmy. You know, and that's a classic example of this. Like, you know, don't ever think like, you know, you're the best, because there will be always somebody who can do something you can't better than you. You know what I mean? And that's very humbling because it keeps you level. You know, because you know, and when you get into that mindset, I think that's when you become a better player, because you just start to play honestly instead of trying to like impress people and just trying to wow people with kind of like either speed or technique or whatever. You just become very honest because you know that there's, you know, if there's somebody better. I mean, there's a million better guitarists like, you know, I know who are better than me, 10 times better. And that's okay. They could play me under the table, but that's okay. I don't really, you know, I'm not in it for competition. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not in it to prove that I'm better than anybody else. I'm in it because I want to make music and I want to express myself through the guitar. And I think once you kind of ditch that kind of like, you know, silly kind of show-off machoism of a guitar, where you're like, you know, oh, look how fast I can play, look at this sweep picking technique and this, that and the other. Watch me, watch me, watch me. It's a bit, you know, like I say, I think you start to play more honestly. You start to play a bit more from you instead of kind of like, you know, letting people dictate what you should be playing. You know, you stop kind of showing off so much. You know, you just don't need to do it. You know, you don't feel the need. So, like I say, going to a guitar shop, it isn't about showing off. It's about, you know, you're going to try something. It's going to expand your ability to create, write, and play music. You know, you're not there to impress anybody. You're not there to impress the staff. You're not there to impress Bob in the corner who can play Yngwie Malmsteen's entire back catalogue perfectly. You know, you're not there to impress anybody. You're there to find something to expand your musical journey. You know, and the only way to do that is to be, you know, is to be totally honest with your playing and where you are with your playing. You know, and so if you only know bar chords, if you only know power chords or open chords, and you only know like, you know, 4 or 5 songs or whatever, then go to a shop and play them. And play them over and over and over again. So what if people get annoyed at you? You know, you're there for you. You know, you're not there for them. You know what I mean? You are there to help your growth as a musician. So if you've got to play Wonderwall 16 times, which I probably wouldn't recommend because you'll probably get kicked in the face, but if you've got to play it though, if you've got to play that, you know, and you feel comfortable playing that, then go ahead. You know what I mean? Like I say, you're not there to impress people. A guitar shop isn't about, it's not a stage, you know, you're not trying to show off all your best licks or something. You're not there to entertain. You know what I mean? Playing on a stage, you're there to entertain people. You know, you've got to be entertaining to people. You can't, you know, it's a different environment. A guitar shop is pretty much a living room environment where you are there, like I say, to expand yourself, your growth, you know. And so you should never ever see a guitar shop and the people in it as a threat to you if you're going to try something new. Just go and do what you do at home, regardless of what people may or may not think of you. And this brings me quite neatly to this story. I don't know if I can play it because it'll probably be copyright flagged, but me and Joe, a couple of years ago, went to York, and we went to Gear for Music in York, in the UK, and my sister at the time was looking for like a cheap acoustic guitar, and Gear for Music have their own brand of cheap instruments. Anyway, I saw this really, really tiny, cheapo acoustic. It was really, really, it looked really cool. You know, it was cheap. It was like, I don't know how much it was, like, you know, 80 quid, 90 quid, something like that. It was just a cheapo Gear for Music, you know, own brand acoustic guitar. So I said to Joe, I'll go and try one of them, because I think Joe was looking at the big guitar wall at the time. And I said, I'm going to go and try one of those, see if it's any good for my sister, you know, because she was after a nice little batter around acoustic. So I went over there and I picked up this acoustic and I just started playing kind of some Big Bro Bruinsy stuff and some blues stuff. And I started playing Stagger Lee by John Lee Hooker. Not Johnny Hooker, sorry, Mississippi John Hurt. And Stagger Lee has this constant walking bass line of bum 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 bum, and it goes throughout, and there's a melody line, and I don't dare play it because just in case it gets copyright flagged. I'm not sure if it's copyright. It's probably not copyright kind of eligible now because of its age, but I'm still scared to play it. But if you look up Stagger Lee on YouTube, I'm pretty sure there's a version of Mississippi John Hurt playing it somewhere on YouTube. And it's an amazing, amazing piece. It's dead simple. It's D major, G major, back to D major, and then to A, with a higher A on the 5th fret on the high E. So it's A major, basically, that chord. Anyway, I was noodling around. I was just playing this, and I was really liking this acoustic. It had a great action. It felt great. It sounded really nice. And I was just noodling about, and this is really, really cool. Anyway, these two lads walked in, and the acoustic section was quite near the entrance to Gear for Music. So I was noodling around on Stagger Lee, and anyway, these two guys walked up to. I was kind of sat like, say I'm sat here. These two guys kind of walked up and they stood there and there to me in about where my white Strat is. They weren't a million miles away from me, but they were stood about there. Anyway, I'm playing Stagger Lee, and I'm just not paying attention to them. I'm not there for them. You know, I'm there for me. You know, I'm there looking at this guitar for somebody else as well. So what the hell do they matter to me? Anyway, they stood there for a while, and I was aware of them. Didn't care, but I was aware of them. And I was playing Stagger Lee, and I was playing through it, and it's really difficult to keep it going. And I was messing around with it, and I was just starting to kind of like mess around a bit with the riff like Mississippi John Hurt does. And I heard them. They turned, and as they walked away, they laughed at me. They literally audibly, and so I could hear it as well. They laughed at me because they thought, oh, he's just playing D, G, and A. You know, oh, he's obviously not that good. He's obviously, you know, he's obviously just learning, and he's like, you know, he's. My God, they went off and they started playing like Metallica on like, you know, a high gain amplifiers with kind of really expensive PRS guitars, and I was just like, okay, whatever, you know. But that's the kind of intimidation you can get in a guitar shop. And the way to get around it is just go, don't care. I'm not here for you. You're not here for me, and I'm not here for you. So why does you laughing at me make me feel funny? Because it did make me feel a bit weird, but it made me feel like I wanted to hit him over the head with the acoustic I had. Because I was just like, do you have any idea how damaging your behaviour is? You know, what if I was a beginner? What if I was a beginner that day, and that was the only thing I knew, and I'd worked for 2 weeks on that, or a month, or a year on that one piece, and I was so proud of it. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing, I finally got this. And I saved up some money, and I'm going to go, I'm going to go and buy myself a new guitar today. It'll have to be budget, because that's all I've got. And I'm sat there playing my little budget acoustic, thinking, oh, this is really, really cool. Two guys walk in and laugh at me. It can kill you on the spot. You know, that can kill your love on the spot, because you're like, oh, I'm rubbish. And self-doubt comes in. And that is horrific, and I don't like that. And that's the competition side of music, and it's not a competition. No one's, you know, no one is above anybody else. You can be better than people, definitely. Like I said, I know a million better guitarists than me, but we're all still on the same level. You know, the fact of the matter is, you should be doing it because you love it, not because you're trying to wow, show off, or do that kind of thing. I don't agree with that kind of mindset, because I don't work that way. But anyway, that's the damaging nature of guitar shops sometimes. Like I say, if I was a beginner and I was struggling through that, and then two guys walked in, laughed, and then proceeded to go over and start shredding, like, and do things that I can't do, I could have walked out of there totally dejected, given up, and that'd have been the end of that. And that isn't cool. That isn't healthy. That's not why, you know, just don't do it. It's not cool. Anyway, like I say, if you know songs, just go and play them. In a guitar shop, you're there for you. You're not there to impress people. You're not there to play for people. This isn't a stage. It's not a performance. You're there to expand your arsenal of noises, guitars, amps, whatever. You're there to grow as a musician. You're not there to wow people with your virtuosity or lack of. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter about that. You know what I mean? What matters is you're there to find something that you want to play through, play with. You know what I mean? You're there for you, not them. You know, you're not even there for the staff. I mean, I've been in guitar shops before where they kind of like, you know, the staff are kind of rushing you, and you're like, That's not a good idea. I could very easily buy something today, and you're rushing me out the door because you think I'm taking too long to try something. It's like, give over. You know. When I worked in Old Hat, I had the same ethic as the guy John I worked with. If somebody came in saying, "Oh, I want to try a Les Paul. What have you got?" I would go and get them what I thought, but I wouldn't really let them go anywhere until they tried everything. You know, "Oh, have you tried this one? Or have you tried this one?" You know, I'd throw guitars at them. You know, I'd go and get guitars from upstairs we had out of the way. You know, "Oh, you tried this, or you tried this." You know, it's because that's what you want when you go to a guitar shop. You know, if you go to a guitar shop, you want to feel at ease and you want to feel comfortable, and you want these staff to be really kind of cool to you. So if you go to a guitar shop and you're like, "Oh, I kind of want to buy a Les Paul. What have you got?" And the staff go, "Right, well, we've got all this. Try it all. Just go for it. Try every single one because one of them might speak to you more. And if they don't, then they don't." But, you know, some guitar shops aren't like that. It's like, you know, "I want to try Les Paul. What do you buy?" "Well, that one over there." "What, the most expensive one?" "Yeah, buy it." It's like, you know, been in those guitar shops as well. But anyway. Yeah, anyway. Like I say, if you know riffs and intros and songs, that is noodling. Like I say, go to the guitar shop. Do not feel well, we can't go to guitar shops anymore because we're on quarantine. But when this is all over, whenever that may be, when we finally can get out and go to guitar shops again, go there, play whatever you want. Do not be intimidated by other people. Like I say, you are not there for them. They're not there for you. You are not there for them. This isn't a stage. You're not there to impress people. You're there to just kind of find something for you. You know, it's when you go to the local grocery store or something like that, like, you know, to buy, I don't know, say you're going to buy bread. You know, you're going to buy bread for you. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, so if you want to get brown bread, and somebody laughs at you for buying brown bread, you're not going to put it back and buy white bread. You know, just because somebody laughed at you. You know, you stick to what you want, and that's the way it works with guitar shops. You know, if you know what you want, or you want to go and try things out at a guitar shop, then just go and do it. You're not there to kind of like be intimidated or to be kind of told what you want. You'll find it. You know, just I don't know if any of that made sense at all. I think that was a lot of waffle that made no sense whatsoever. But like I say, I hope that made sense. And yeah, like I say, just go and have fun. Go and have fun. You know, try everything. You never know. But like I say, don't be off-put by other people. You know, go and enjoy it. Go and enjoy the experience and have a laugh and just see what things do and see what appeals to you. And, you know, do not be intimidated by other people. You know, you're in a guitar shop for yourself to look around, not for other people. You don't be playing like, you know, a guitar and it's like, "This is my dream guitar," and somebody comes along and goes, "God, that's rubbish," and then you go, "Yes, it is actually." You know, you're just putting your dream guitar down. What are you doing? Don't do that. You know, just because somebody says they don't like it doesn't mean you should follow suit. You know, I don't know. Anyway, I hope that made sense. Okay, going to move on to the final question already. Question 4. Question 4 is: did you notice more wear on John Frusciante's 62 Strat in the recent Chili Peppers gig, or do you think it's remained quite untouched? There is a little bit more arm wear. There's a little bit more wear around here. Tiny bit, but not a great deal. And you would think after 10 years that guitar would be quite... I mean, have you seen Phil Sace's Sunburst Stratocaster? How long has he had that? I think Phil Sace has had that for like 10 years. It was like a really awesome black... It was a Sunburst Strat, but it was mostly black, and there was this tiny little bit of sunburst there. And when he got it, all the finish was there. Now there's like no finish on that thing at all. You know, because he plays it so much. And the same thing with his mother guitar as well. Like, there's no finish on that thing either. But there was a little bit more wear on John Frusciante's Strat, but there wasn't as much as maybe you'd expect there would be if he was still touring it. It leads me to believe he hasn't played it a great deal. I mean, after he left the Chili's, he didn't really play them anyway. He played his Yamaha SGs. He'd have used them occasionally, definitely. But the 60, they haven't. I mean, even the 55 didn't look like it's worn at all. The 55 didn't look really any different to how it did at the last gig. You know, if you look at the Reading Festival highlights, which is John's second to last gig, the 55 looks pretty much identical to how it did then. You know, the 62 doesn't look a great deal far off because it's only a little bit more arm wear that's there on the 62. Other than that, it looks kind of exactly the same. You know, even the plectrum wear looks pretty much identical, which makes me think he's not really played it a great deal in the 10 years he's been away. So there is a little bit more wear, but there isn't a great deal more wear, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So there's like, you know, like I say, a little bit more on the arm. Other than that, not really a great deal. The plectrum wear doesn't seem to be any different to how it was when he quit. You know, maybe a little bit more on the top section, but not really. Yeah, not really. But now I've got to update my John Strat because there is more arm wear. How inconsiderate of him to play that guitar and not leave it as it is. Anyway, I'm joking, of course. Okay, so yeah, there was a little bit more wear, but like I say, you know, if he'd been playing that thing constantly for another 10 years, like he did, there'd be a lot more. But it hasn't been untouched, but it hasn't been played a great deal, in my opinion. You know, it's not been used as much as it was when he was with the Chili's. Okay, so last part of question 4 is: are you a fan of Jim Carey? Yes, I am. I love Jim Carey. I remember getting The Mask on VHS video when it came out. I think it was 94. Or was it 92? I don't know. Whenever The Mask came out, I got it on VHS video for my birthday. How old would I have been then? I don't even know. Probably under the age of what the video was actually recommended for, but, you know. I grew up with Rick Mayall from the age of, like, age 5 and 6, so it doesn't really make any difference. But yeah, I love Jim Carey. I love the way he is. I love the way he is now, and I love the way he talks about things. He's an absolute inspirational human being. And he makes me proud to be a human being because he is gorgeous. He's a gorgeous human being in the way he is. The way he talks, the speeches he gives, the way he talks about life and stuff like that is amazing. And he's growing up as well. I mean, his life is... He didn't have an easy life when he was young, you know what I mean? And like I said, I mean, like he said in an interview, his main job in life when he was younger was to make his mum and dad happy, smile and laugh. You know, I mean, what a wicked kid. You know what I mean? If that doesn't warm your heart, I don't know what will, because like I say, he talks about his dad wanting to be a comedian, but he never dared. He never dared do it, and you know, he never wanted to kind of jump into that kind of thing. So Jim became a comedian because he saw basically... Oh no, his dad wanted to be not a comedian, sorry. His dad wanted to be a professional musician. I think it was trumpet. I do apologise. He's a musician, I think. But anyway, his dad never pursued that dream. And Jim, he's got that awesome line, which is so perfect, which is, you can fail at what you don't want to do. So you might as well... That's really weird. Sorry everyone, I just got massively distracted by a feather, no word of a lie, just floating outside my window that's now gone. As I'm about to say that thing, that's just weird. Anyway, moving along. He says you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well give doing what you want a go. You know what I mean? Because yeah, you can get a job that's a safe job. No job is ever safe, but you can get a job that you think is safe, and you know you can be you can be happy and secure, and then one day you can lose your job, and all of a sudden you're back at square one again, and then you can struggle to find work. So you might as well just put everything you've got into doing something you love, because you can fail at both. The safe route, the safe route isn't necessarily the safe route. You know, the reckless route isn't exactly a reckless route. You know what I mean? They're both fraught with dangers. And he's so on the money when he says, like, you might as well, if you're going to fail at something, at least let yourself fail at something you love. Because at least then you can, at the end of your days, you can look back and go, I did what I wanted and I tried. Which is a lot better than looking back going, I wish I had done that. You know, and that is hugely inspirational. And we've got to thank him for that line, because it's absolutely gorgeous and it's so true. You know, we are all here for some reason. What that is gets revealed to us when it's ready, in my opinion. You know, mine was the guitar. You know, this thing came to me when I needed it. You know, things come to you when you need them. You know what I mean? And Jim talks about asking the universe for things, not deities or anything like that. Asking the universe for things and believing in things. And I kind of get it's exactly where he's coming from with that. It's one of those things like, you know, if you ask for it and you work hard enough for it, eventually one day it will hopefully come to you. Sadly, it doesn't happen for everybody. You know, but if you're doing what you love and you're able to do what you love and you can get by doing that, or you have to do something else to help you do what you love but you still do it, then you're a successful human being. You know, I think it was Bob Dylan who said something along the lines of like, you know, a man who gets up in the morning and does what he loves for a living is a success. You know, and that's so true. You know, if you know, and the thing is, if like, you know, if you've got to go out to work all day and you want to play guitar, and you have to go out to work all day, and you get home at 5 o'clock, and your guitars are there waiting for you, and you can then the rest of the night sit down and play your guitar. That's it. You know what I mean? That's it, and it gives you the ability to go and buy more guitars. That's it. You know, it's but like, you know, you do have to give it everything you've got, because I spoke about this in a live stream the other night. Life is not limitless. Life appears to be limitless, but it's not. There is an invisible counter on each one of us. And I don't say this to scare people or freak people out or anything like that. It's just one of those things of life. And I think knowing it makes for a better life, because you cherish the moments you have instead of kind of passing them off as a nothing. If you think like, you know, how many more times am I going to see a full moon? How many more times am I going to get to do this? How many more times am I going to get to do this? Because unfortunately things are tallying, you know. And once you get to a certain amount of numbers, it has to stop. You know, that's the cold, sad truth of life, is eventually things stop. So never take anything for granted that you do. Never take anybody for granted that you love. Never take what you do for granted. Never take what you want to do and what you want because you love it for granted. Every moment you have is really important. It really is, and it's hugely important to do that. Do what you love. Because, like I say, at the end of your days, you don't want to be looking back going, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done this, and now I can't. You know what I mean? You don't want, you know, everyone's going to have regrets. Regrets are part of life. You know, everybody says, oh, don't have any regrets. Impossible. Everyone's going to have regrets. I regret a million trillion different things, and I'm sure we all do. You know, but, you know, you've got to be who you want to be. You've got to do what you want to do. You know, as long as it's not hurting somebody else. You know, you can't go around thinking, oh, I really want to hit people in the face with a baseball bat. That's not cool. You know, you can't do that kind of thing. But you've got to be, you know, you've got to do what you want to do. If you know, you've got to throw everything you've got at it. Because if you throw everything you've got at it, it will eventually pay off. You know what I mean? You know, you've got to give it all you've got. Because again, coming back to that Jim Carey quote, you know, you can fail at what you don't like, so you might as well give doing something you love a go. I want to be an artist, but I'm no good at it. How do you know? You haven't tried. You know, if you're just going to be beaten at the first hurdle, what's the point? Oh, I really want to write a book, but I'm no good at writing. How do you know? If you're not even going to try and start it, then you'll never know. I really want to be able to play guitar, but I probably won't be any good at it. You're beaten before you start. Try. Give it a go for a year. See where you are. Record your progress. Everyone's got a phone. Film yourself. You know, record yourself. See where you are in a year. See where you were at the beginning of that year to where you are at the end. See your progression. And you realise that these things are worth it. And we can do these things. You know, just give things a go. Don't let insecurities and other stuff get in the way. You can do anything you want if you try hard enough. And you put enough into it, you can do anything. You know, and in these really weirdo times we're in right now, how dark the world is right now, and how dark the world's going to get yet to come, that is absolutely key. You know, it's really important to tell people who you love them. It's really important to tell people who mean something to you that they mean something to you. You know, it's really important to express your innermost being to people you want to do that too. You know, because you just don't know what's round the corner or tomorrow or an hour or 5 minutes from now. You know, you just don't know. You know, and like I say, I don't think thinking about that is scary. I think thinking about that makes everything more important. Because you no longer take things for granted. You no longer take your time for granted with others that you love. You know, you look back on it, or when you're in it, you experience it for what it is, and you enjoy it for what it is. You know what I mean? You know, hopefully this is making sense. You know, you don't ever take anything for granted. Be where you are. Be happy. Be smiley. You know, there's nothing wrong in telling people you love them. There's many different levels of how you can love somebody. You know what I mean? You know, sadly sometimes people don't quite understand what you mean by that, but that's okay. You know, if you know what you mean, that's okay. You know, but it is important, especially in times like this as well, because we're in a weird place. We're in a super weird place, and we are venturing into the wilderness without a map. That's exactly where we are at this point in time. You know, we've got mountain ranges. We are stood with mountain ranges and forests and all sorts of stuff in front of us. Wilderness. We don't know what's in there. We don't know the way through to the other side. We don't know where we're going to go, but we've got to go. We have no choice. We've got to walk in that direction. We've got to go through it. There's no going around it. There's no staying where we are. We have to go through it. But we don't know what's in there. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know anything like that. But there is another side to it. You know, even the biggest forest in the world, you can walk through the biggest forest in the world or over the highest mountains in the world. There is always another side. You know what I mean? There's always another end of it. You know, the trip might be scary and hard work, but the fact of the matter is there's always another end to it. But anyway, I waffle. So, but yeah, in these times, everybody, just be careful. You know, take this seriously because it is. You know, be careful, look after everybody, look after yourselves, look after others, help each other. You know, sadly people aren't. It's amazing how quickly the veil of humanity fell, especially in the UK. When this virus hit, it definitely shows people's true intentions, you know, and what people value over what they should actually value. You know, it's really, really sad. And it upsets me. It really, really upsets me because you know, you like to think more. You would like to think that like more of a certain situation. You know, you think that everyone would like to be there for each other, and sadly, certain people just aren't there for each other. You know, it's sad. It brought that into sharp focus really quickly, especially in the UK with the whole panic buying and all that lot. Brought into very sharp focus that people are out for themselves. As soon as there's a crisis, people are out for themselves, and they will stamp on your face to get what they want out of you. You know, to get what they want if you're in the way, you know what I mean? And instead of kind of thinking about kind of like, you know, who might actually need this? Do I actually need this? You know, it's very sad, very heartbreaking, very upsetting. So yeah, like I say, anyway, I hope this answered your question. That was a long answer. I do apologise, everybody, but I hope it's answered your question anyway. I hope there's something in there. Yes, I am a fan of Jim Carey. Anyway, thank you very much for your questions, everybody. I hope I've answered your questions okay. I'll see you again on Friday for another video. Not sure what Friday's video is going to be. But I'm thinking of doing a video for Friday and Saturday because there's something I really want to talk about. It might be Thursday, actually. I might do a video for tomorrow and then a video on Friday. So I want to do a video talking about Dave Murray and his influence on me and just him in general. Just like natter about Dave a bit. Because I've wanted to do a video on Dave for a long time. And I want to do a video on Mike McCready, talking about Mike McCready. And I want to do a video talking about, like, you know, some other guitarists as well at some point. Just kind of like, you know, just kind of going through a few things here and there. Interspersed with a couple of, like, you know, examples of stuff like that. But yeah, so but there's also something else I really want to talk about as well this week, which is I feel is really important, not only for me but for other people as well. But I'll say I'm not going to say much about that at this point in time because the video has to be I have to film that at the right time to get it right, if that makes any sense. Anyway, another thing I really want to talk about quickly before the end of this video is this point in time is really important, like I've already said, to support each other, because there's going to be a lot of people kind of not being able to work and stuff like that. So bear that in mind as we go forward in this weirdo time. And yeah, and you know, just help each other out as much as you can. You know, if somebody needs something, you have plenty of, you know, help the people in need who need it. You know what I mean? We're in a weird time. It's a really weird time. But everybody, please be safe. Please be safe. Please be, you know, healthy, happy, smiley. You know, just think about what's going on and think about what you're doing and kind of like, you know, the effect you might have on others and stuff like that. And just take where we are at this point in time, kind of what it is day by day. You know, don't rush, like, you know, into pure panic mode and start building a bunker in your garden and stuff like that. You know, just take it day by day, minute by minute. You know, unfortunately, by the end of this, there's going to be fallout, definitely. But you know, all we've got is each other in this world. So it's like, you know, just be mindful of each other, and you know, just be helpful and caring and empathetic towards other people. You know, just do what you can. You know, just do what you can. I say, it's a funny world. It's a weird wilderness we're about to walk into, and like I say, we've got no maps and no supplies, but we're going in anyway. So, because there's no choice, got to do it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A, everybody, and I will see you again on either tomorrow. I'll definitely see you on Friday for whatever video that'll be, but I don't know if there might be a video tomorrow, but there'll definitely be a video Friday, and I'll do the video on Friday. I want to talk about Dave Murray. You know, a bit of levity in this weirdo time. Yeah, until then, everybody, have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. Like I say, be happy, be healthy, be smiley, look after yourselves. You know, just do what you can do. Just do what you can do. Be calm as much as you can. Try not to kind of like lose your mind over it. Just do what you can. Just do what you can. So yeah, have a great one, everybody. I hope this was something. I don't know what, but anyway, thank you very much. I'll see you again. Have a great one. Goodbye now. Thank you very much for watching. Big fun.